Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQOA Nostalgia here, and I've got the missus with me today. We're going to be talking about the AFK XP video I made. It seemed to fire some people up. I'm going to be reading a comment, and I think he deleted it, and I'm not trying to like shame anybody or anything, but I just thought it was kind of funny because people are really passionate about this. I didn't realize how passionate people were about AFK XP. Yeah. They really hate it. Yeah. Some people absolutely hate it.
And rightfully so. I understand that.
But you tend to cross a line, yes. Right? When you want to enforce your opinion one way or the other, and I can be guilty of the same thing, right?
Well, yeah.
But at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want, and if you fuss about that, it's really not going to change anything.
No, it doesn't change the fact that people are going to do what they want to do.
Right. And this is one of the things that I've had to learn to come to terms with in my life. I can't control everything, okay? And that includes my own audience and how they might react. Sometimes it's just the way it is, right? But I'm going to read this to you guys because you can tell he was clearly pissed off at the time. And he's quoting me right here where I said, "Now you're being dramatic, lol." And he put EQOA Nostalgia up here. "Appeal to ridicule, redactio ad ridiculum, redictio ad absurdum, right. Mocking or stating that the opponent's opposition is laughable to deflect from the merits of the opponent's argument." I feel like I'm in a presidential debate all of a sudden and not talking about a game that shut down 21 years ago. And you are being dismissive of a perfectly rational and reasonable argument. You can name call me or try to pretend my argument isn't valid all you want. Well, I'm not trying to name call anybody.
No.
That's not my intention. But the reality is there for anyone willing to approach the subject rationally. If you are going to play a game, be there. If you have other things you want to do, park your character, log off, go out and do other things. It's the same with multi-boxers. I got to stop you here because multi-boxers in the end, they kind of held the game up. And
yes,
I know
they did.
A lot of people don't like that.
Towards the end it did.
But they were paying sub fees that kept things running. At least it appeared to be that way.
Right. If they had 4 multi-boxes, that's 4 times the pay
15,
that
right.
Yeah, Sony was getting at the time.
Exactly. And
15 times 4. Yeah.
Now, Michelle Butler came out and said, well, the reason we shut down the game is because they changed credit cards. The 3-number digit. I don't believe that. I really don't.
Neither do I.
But, maybe.
But it is what it is. So
maybe. I mean, why couldn't they just like update their system to deal with that? Yeah, come on. So that seems like it's just, not legit. But who knows? Maybe she's right. The whole point of the game was to group with others and explore a dangerous world together. When you multi-box, you are grouping with yourself, not really with a group of other players, and now you aren't part of the community you should be a part of. You are missing one of the major parts of the game that make it what it was. I can agree with that.
I can too.
But not everybody wants to play the game the way you want to play it.
Right. Sometimes I go and play it. I don't want to be bothered with anybody. I just want to play alone.
Exactly. Sometimes you don't want to deal with anything, any kind of drama that might pop up, or arguing over the loot, or right. Maybe you just want to play the way you want to. And you can do that. That's nice.
That's what's nice about it. You can do that.
It was actually Thievin, one of my subscribers, who was like, "Hey, dude, are you boxing?" I'm like, "Nah, I just want to play. I just want to play the game." And he's like, "Yeah, you should try it out." I tried it out and I loved it. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." I dig it.
So.
But at the same time, if you consider it, you're getting. If you have a 4-player group, you're splitting that across all characters, so it takes a long time to level up.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people forgot that when you got into a group, you had to share the XP. And some people are seeing that now, and they're like, "Hey, I didn't think it was like that. I don't like this." Well, that's how it was, though.
No, but the XP went fast.
Right, but at the same time, I think that maybe nowadays the way we look at it is you should incentivize people to group together, not penalize people. Right, and that's the difference in old school versus new school thought. But, yeah, I mean, you got a valid point here, but at the end of the day, like I said, people are going to do what they're going to do, right? And he was telling me not to normalize it, and I told him it was normalized 20 years ago.
Yes, it was.
And it was. I mean, some people didn't like it, but it was. The devs, they enforced it at first, like, don't do that or we'll ban you, and then they laid off. Because they realized it's not manageable, it takes too much time and resources to deal with, plus all we're doing is chasing off subscribers who are paying money.
Petter groups are notorious for that AFK stuff.
Well, yeah, that's what it was.
I never had a problem with
there were Petter groups. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to talk about, once we're done reading this, why my arguments are for the Petters, because, well, I'll just get into it in a minute. Where are we? Here we go. it wasn't normalized, people would have protested that behavior. People would train people participating in that behavior. It was not normal or accepted. It happened, sure, but wasn't normal or accepted. People frowned upon it, and rightfully so. Well, some people frowned upon it. I think most of us just didn't give a shit about it, and we went off and did our own thing.
Right.
For the most part, right? Play the game and be there, or leave and make space for others who actually play the game. Well, it's not like it's there's space that there's not enough of it, right? There's plenty
of space in EverQuest.
Something you'll have, he's quoting me here, something you'll have to learn to live with, or you can join the dark side and train people, etc. EQOA nostalgia. Now he keeps putting my signature here, which is just, kind of being a dick, but all right. you don't have to learn to live with it. You can express protests and arguments against the behavior to try and reduce that behavior as much as possible. But you're not going to.
No.
People are still going to they're just going to log in and go somewhere else.
People are going to do what they want to do.
I can see people training when the AFKer is taking a spot others in an active group actively want. I would be perfectly okay with people who are actively playing the game to train that individual for not playing. Now, you just got yourself in trouble, dude. Because you said that people are breaking the rules and not playing it the way they're supposed to, but training people is also not something you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
So now you're justifying breaking the rules.
Training was a big no-no. That got you 7-day suspension.
Now listen, he was on a moral high ground, and then he just stepped off of it when he said, well, I'm going to break the rules too because you are. Right. So now you lost your moral high ground. That's not a good thing either.
No, it's not.
Be there, talk, participate, play, or don't log off and do what you got to do. Well, thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. I'm glad I've got your permission that I could log off and do what I got to do. I'm telling you, you're not going to stop that.
People are going to do what they want to do.
Right. And the more you try to tell people what to do,
the more they're going to do
the more defiant they're going to get. And I know because I feel the very same way. Oh, you ain't going to tell me shit.
Tell me what.
As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to go park myself AFK right now in defiance of what you telling me what to do.
Right.
That's just human nature. That's the contrite spirit that's inside the heart of man.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it is, but it's how we are. We're sinful, right? People have wicked hearts. It's just the way it is. It's okay to put down the game when you have responsibilities or other things you want to do. I think I already read that, right? Mm-hmm. No, I read that part. Okay. But as I said, it's literally not my business, quoting me in EQOA nostalgia again. So that's being vindictive when somebody does that. I know you're like, oh, but that's being a little vindictive, right?
It is.
It's okay to talk about things. No reason to brush things off as not your business when clearly it is your business, as it's something that affects you, will affect you, and clearly is something on your mind, which is why you made a video on it. No, I'm going to stop you right there. This video that I made talking about AFK XP was how I was surprised people were doing it on a server where everything's going to be wiped and so soon after getting the game back.
Yeah.
I figured everybody's going to be running around with stars and rise like, oh man, I'm so happy to be back.
Like I did.
Right, like you and I both, and most people are doing. So that's what took me aback. That's what took me aback. I was like, whoa.
So grateful of the people that are working on it. Let me tell you, they've been doing a lot.
Amen. Thank you, everybody who's working on the game.
Yes.
God bless you for that.
Absolutely.
But no, I didn't make the video to criticize people who AFK XP, period. If they do it in a live game, I don't care.
No, you were just surprised that they were actually doing it when their characters are going to get wiped anyway, so it's like...
Just have fun.
Run around, have fun, and die while you can before you start getting... dead. Yeah, dead.
Exactly. Start looking around, oh, there's a keep I've never gone in before. Let me go down there and see if I can get my ass whooped.
Die 50 times, who cares?
Right? That's what I was talking about. I didn't make the video to talk about this, dude.
Right.
Some common fallacies to think about and avoid when approaching topics of discussion. Now, this just reeks of hubris. He's going to give me a list of common fallacies that I fell into here. I'm entitled to my opinion. Well, I don't think I said I'm entitled to my opinion. Did I say that? I don't know. Maybe I did. Sometimes I say things and I forget. I don't know. But people are entitled to do what they want. They're going to play the game the way they want to.
People are entitled to their opinions.
Right. They are. Right. A person discredits any opposition by claiming that they are entitled to their opinion while disregarding facts, reasoning, and evidence brought up on a given subject. Like I said, this kind of reads like a presidential debate or something. Right. Like something serious. We're talking about a video game, guys.
It's a game.
It's a video game. It's a game that shut down 20 years ago.
Like we were saying, go play Elder Scrolls.
Oh, we're going to get into that in a minute. Appeal to ridicule, right, and all the Latin for it. Mocking or stating that the opponent's position is laughable to deflect from the merits of the opponent's argument. Well, I do laugh at it because I think you're taking it too serious. Poo-poo, stating that an opponent's argument is unworthy of consideration. Okay, I don't know if I did that. If I did, I'm sorry. Thought terminating cliche, a commonly used phrase, sometimes passing as folk wisdom, used to quell cognitive dissonance, conceal lack of forethought, move on to other topics, etc. But in any case, to end the debate with a cliche rather than a point. It is what it is. Stop thinking so much. It's all good. Here we go again, etc. Straw man fallacy. Like, I feel like I'm arguing with a Redditor or we're on 4chan and we're arguing, like, this is getting way too deep here. Misrepresenting an opponent's argument by broadening or narrowing the scope of a premise and or refuting a weaker version of their argument. And my only response to this was, you're taking this way too seriously, dude. Lol.
Right.
Calm down, man.
I understand where he's coming from.
I can.
I sincerely do.
Yes, I can see his point.
But
at the end of the day,
as much as you dislike it, it's going to happen.
Right.
And if you don't like it, then don't play the game. That's all I can tell you.
Exactly.
Good luck finding something that's not going to have bots or AFKers because...
Now, I wasn't trying to talk over... Some people might think I'm trying to talk over the misses. I wanted to get through this quickly so we could broaden the discussion a little bit here.
Right.
But, yeah, the first time I was aware of a bot problem, and we're making our way over to Elder Scrolls now, I pointed out to the missus that there were bots. And I wish I didn't do it. Because once I put a microscope... Once I put a microscope over that shit, she was like, oh, hell no! I'm like, look, they're taking from your economy, and they're weakening your economy. So everything that you get that would normally be 200 gold is now going to be 20 gold.
And let me tell you, I was a diehard Elder Scroll player, and I raged quit, and I have not picked that game up in almost 4 years
You see what I did, guys? I pointed out bots to the missus, and she noped right out of there. She's like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, after I screwed their bots up quite a few times. I'd run ahead of the bots and quick nab what they're going for, and then they'd stand there, their bots standing there all stupid like this. Yeah,
she would in other words,
intervene.
She would interrupt their script. And the script was just, it would malfunction for a second.
I didn't know what to do.
Before it would kick in what to do again later.
No, it never kicked in.
Oh, no,
there was... log in and it would still be standing there a day later.
I wonder how many people you caused to update their scripts to get around that.
A lot.
Because that's what they do. And this brings me back to the point. It doesn't matter that the missus was standing there trying to stop them. They would come up with more scripts to get around it.
And it wasn't just one bot, it was a cluster of like 30 or 40 running.
There's thousands of them.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
They ruined the whole game.
And if you try to stop them, all you're doing is wasting your time, dude. You're wasting your time. Because you ain't stopping them. They're going to do it anyway. Okay? You ain't going to stop it.
No, and I didn't.
You're just wasting your own time.
I can't tell you how many times I rolled.
Right.
To the devs.
And I remember, you could report them. I remember reporting them too.
Numerous times.
And you can't stop. They don't have the resources to stop it.
They don't care to stop.
Well, I don't know if it's so much that they don't. Well, maybe there's probably because they're making money off those bots, right?
They don't care. Mm-hmm.
So they don't care. They're probably getting, I don't know. That game was buy to play, so once you had it, you didn't have to sub.
Because here's the thing: you're only allowed to carry so much stuff.
Oh, that's right. You had
they had to.
You had to sub to have the extra bag space.
You had to sub to have the unlimited bag space.
For resource, that's right. They'd give you a resource bag. Yes.
And that's what the bots were doing, was looting all these resources. So.
And she got so pissed she quit. And I remember coming out and seeing her do it. Like I was like a week later, and I'm like, honey, are you still trying to? Don't buy. Don't. Just go do your thing. I wish I never pointed it out to you. Well, let me take you guys back to 2007 now.
Yeah.
Because in 2007, I got my first, I don't know if I call it a PC, more like a potato. Actually, it was about 2006 when I got that. And I started playing RuneScape, okay? And just to set the tone for you, I'll turn on the music real quick. I'm in El Carrot, just mining, doing my thing, listening to that cool tune. And I used to love mining, man. And I remember all of a sudden there's these scorpions that are messing with me. And it's slowing down my mining. And I'm like, what are these scorpions doing here?
Right. It's not normal.
And I didn't know what these scorpions were doing here. I come to find out later they put them there to try to slow down bots.
Right.
And I remember all of a sudden I had this seething animosity towards bots. because you have literally affected me now. Now you're slowing down my time.
Yep.
Now I can't farm the minerals I want to farm in El Kharid, which I loved doing. I loved just cutting the gems. I still remember the sound of cutting gems. It had that glass cutting sound. It just, I don't know. It was relaxing.
Right.
I liked everything about it. The sounds, the music, everything about it. And all of a sudden, one day, somebody pees all over my parade. And I'm pissed. Okay? And then, for some reason, I ended up going fishing for like crawfish or something. And I just see this guy fishing, right? And he walks away, and then somebody else is still there, and then they walk, and I realize there's like 40 of them all walking towards the bank.
But.
And I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what is this? And I ended up hitting up the chat. I'm like, why are there like 40 people in one spot? They're like, oh, those are bots, bro. I'm like, what?
Your first taste of bots.
What? That was my first taste of bots, and I'm thinking, F this. I don't want to deal with this. This is ridiculous. And I ended up rage quitting. And I didn't go back to RuneScape for years.
And that's what happened with me with Elder Scrolls. And it's sad because my character was like level almost 1,000.
Right.
So I had put time into her.
So who did it hurt in the long run?
Me.
And me. Because we quit.
I really loved the game, but
and we stopped playing.
To play it. Yeah.
But if we would have just ignored them and dealt with it, we'd still be playing. Well, I mean, it was just a long time ago for me, but you know what I mean? She'd probably still be playing Elder Scrolls Online, and I would have played RuneScape Classic until, you know, the new thing came out, and then everybody who was in the Classic just quit. But
so I think the moral of this story is I'd rather deal with AFKers than a bunch of bots.
Right.
You know, so
exactly. So
there's no comparison.
So if you think that people multi-boxing and doing
It's
AFK is bad,
it's not. It's not.
Imagine people absolutely destroying your economy because they farm the crap out of something that used to make you tonner, and now it's worth squat.
Yeah.
It's worth nothing. Okay?
Having bots run out of you and snagging everything up.
That's way worse, dude.
Yeah,
that's way worse. We don't have to deal with that.
Nope.
At least not yet. I hope that never,
I hope we never do.
I hope that's never a thing. But yeah, they would just pump the economy and destroy it. And I remember watching, I can't, there were these herbs that I used to get. I don't remember what they were. It was in RuneScape, and then all of a sudden I watched the value just plummet overnight, and I'm like, when's something going to be done about these bots? And people are like, oh yeah, they have a bot nuke day, and they get rid of them, but then they come back, and the moral of this story is that it doesn't matter if you nuke the bots will make new scripts, they will do new things to get in, and this is how it worked with SOCOM. Remember the people who would cheat in SOCOM?
Yes.
SOCOM, they would keep it pretty much relatively cheater-free until the new game came out, and then
everybody cheated.
Then they didn't have the resources to keep up with it, and the cheaters would come into SOCOM 1, and then you'd move on to SOCOM 2, right. I remember the first time I saw somebody using the Skywalker glitch, where they would just walk through the sky and go brrr, 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 brrr. You'd hear the gun doing that, and as soon as you heard that, you get into a room, your eyes would roll in the back of your head, and you'd be out. Well, you couldn't stop those people. And the reason why you couldn't stop them is because the people that would make the code breaker stuff were always a step ahead of the devs who were squashing it, because it's big business. Okay? And when you're talking dollars, you ain't gonna stop people from doing it.
No, you're not.
The only thing you can really do is learn to live with it, dude. Okay?
Yeah.
You can get upset. It can ruin your entire night, and you can just deem that I'm going to troll these people until the ends of the earth, and all you're doing is taking away your time from things that you should be doing and minding your own business.
Right.
And I stand on that, and I understand what he's saying.
I do too.
But in the really real world,
there
ain't no coming back. This is the really real world.
But AFKers are not. Seriously, they're not bad.
They're not that big of a deal.
They're not that big.
And
EQOA's got a big world, and it's open world.
Right. But you're not going to stop them.
No.
They're still going to
do it. And at least they're not bots.
Right.
That's just what, a group of 4?
Exactly. They're not running scripts. Now, if people started running scripts on EQOA, now I'm going to start getting pissed. I'm going to be like, all right, hey. Thankfully,
then you will have a reason to complain.
Thankfully, our game's not that popular, and ain't nobody trying to make money off of selling tonner.
Yeah, it's a long way away. how do you want to say it? It's a long ways away before that happens. Anyways,
Right.
they're still developing it. They're still working on the game.
That's another thing.
Auction's not even up. Banks aren't
Right.
even. You can't buy or sell.
This is a shell of what
So
EQOA is
it's
going to
right.
look like.
It is. So enjoy it while you have it.
Just have fun, man.
Have fun with it.
Don't get so worked up that you're right. I'm pretty sure he deleted this.
I'm
But-
just grateful I can
Holy
log in
smokes.
and run around on my character and loot again,
Right.
and hear the ding.
It's like that guy. I'm just happy to be here, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That's
yeah.
us.
I guess. Just to summarize, you guys already know. Just do your thing.
Yeah,
And don't fret over what other people do if you can help it. Sometimes you're going to get caught up in that, but don't stay there. Don't get stuck in that because it's just going to make you miserable.
Somebody AFK, wave at them, we'll run
Yeah,
away.
throw them a buff and just leave.
Yeah,
And that's another thing. Most
Slapping
times,
on 'em.
the people that are AFK XPing, they are in an obscure location
Yeah.
because A, they're looking after number one for selfish reasons. They don't want to be trained, and B, they don't want to mess with other people. And
The
that's
communities used to be very good.
right. So mostly we would just go to Treants. We would go to Treants, and then people would still come out and try to train us. And now you're breaking the rules too, right? And whether they're enforced or not, at a
Two
certain
wrongs
point,
don't make a right.
Two wrongs ain't making a right. Just do your own thing. But that's it for this one, guys. Let me know if you liked it. Leave a thumbs up. Get down in the comments section, or a thumbs down if you didn't like it. And yeah, I'll hear from you all in the next one. God bless. Take it easy.